Leon Edwards has big plans for his reign as welterweight champion. Having dethroned Kamaru Usman at UFC 278 a couple of weeks back, it is likely he will now be ordered to fight the Nigerian Nightmare again in a trilogy fight, but he also has his eyes set on another welterweight star. Today, we are discussing Edwards' plans after revealing he wants revenge against Jorge Masvidal at some point. Don't go anywhere. Let's have a quick look at the pair's history then. Stay tuned. After shocking the world with an insane head kick KO a couple of weeks back, Leon Edwards has been discussing his plans for the future, and one of these plans involves a certain Jorge Masvidal. At UFC London a few weeks back, the pair turned out on the same card, both scoring big wins. Masvidal scored a knockout for the ages against home favorite Darren Till, whilst Edwards notched up a split decision win against world-class grappler Gunnar Nelson. After the fight, Edwards and Masvidal were involved in a backstage altercation after Edwards had aimed some verbal digs at Masvidal whilst he was taking part in a backstage interview. When the interview finished, Jorge marched straight over to Leon to call him out. The two were involved in a brief verbal exchange before the Miami man landed a few punches on the newly crowned champion. The whole thing can be found online as it unfolded right in front of ESPN cameras. Shortly after, Gamebred revealed that their spat originated on social media, before going on to say, "He's like talking crap on social media. I seen him here during fight week. Doesn't really address me as a man. I wanted to talk to him kind of, and he's just like dodging me." Jorge then explained what went down from his point of view, referring to Leon as a hooligan before claiming that he wouldn't even waste a training camp on Edwards, calling him a scrub. What did you make of the altercation? What else went down then? Let's discuss. Well, Masvidal claims he told Edwards to say it to my face like a man, deriding him for saying stuff about him whilst walking away. He also revealed that as he approached Leon, he had his hands behind his back in his signature style, which should have shown Edwards he was not here for problems, but Leon had different ideas according to Jorge. He said, "But he put his hands up like this. It's on video, and he walks towards me. Where I'm from, if you do that, you're gonna punch me in the face, and that's not gonna happen." He went on to insult Leon a little more before claiming that he gave him the three-piece with the soda before getting out of there. The former title challenger then suggested Edwards' team tried to assault him, saying it backfired on them as now they can't travel to America due to visa complications. "We didn't realize Jorge had a side hustle as an immigration official." Masvidal then revealed that it might not have seemed like it at the time, but he was actually scared. However, Dana White wasn't impressed, saying, "We need to do a much better job of making sure this stuff doesn't happen at any of our events." Met Police revealed they were aware of what went down, but no official complaints were made. Good job it wasn't Colby Covington, am I right? So, what has Leon said recently? Stick around to find out. Of course, Leon hasn't forgotten what went down at UFC London back in 2019 and has Jorge firmly in his sights. However, the idea of Masvidal getting a third title shot in the near future is slim to none. The Miami native has twice fought for the title in recent years, losing both fights to former champ Kamaru Usman. He also lost a big fight at the top of the welterweight rankings to Colby Covington last time out. So, at this exact point in time, he is pretty far down the pecking order, and Leon Edwards is well aware of this. First of all, he admitted that Usman is deserving of the trilogy fight, which nobody can really argue with given what he has done in the past few years, before then saying, "Let's settle the score." This, of course, was in reference to Masvidal. When prompted, Leon conceded that he was in fact talking about Gamebred, going on to say, "Yeah, 100%. Jorge is on a 2-3 fight losing streak, so he needs to go out there and get some wins and make the fight make sense, and that's a fight I think would be massive for the UFC and to get my revenge on him. I cannot wait." Masvidal is currently out of title contention and sitting 9th in the division, so he needs at least 2 big wins to face off against the champ, possibly Shavkat. There's also people like Sean Brady and Wonderboy around him in the rankings, which would be interesting. A quick update on Masvidal's trial now. Stay with us. Jorge attacked welterweight rival Colby Covington outside a Miami restaurant shortly after their fight earlier this year and was promptly arrested. He was expected to go on trial this September, but a pre-trial hearing earlier this week resulted in a decision to push the pre-trial back to November, with the trial itself expected to take place in early December. It is thought that Masvidal's team would like more time to collect evidence and interview responding police officers. It has also been claimed that Masvidal blindsided Covington after learning of his whereabouts on social media. Their spat dates back to the time they used to train together at Florida's American Top Team. Masvidal was incensed after Covington failed to pay some of the gym's coaches for one of his fight camps, and that was the end of their relationship. Since then, it has gone downhill fast. Covington, no stranger to making police complaints, has reported a brain injury, which is thought to be part of his continued absence from the octagon. The case itself is thought to be the reason behind Jorge's extended absence from the ring. Neither have been seen in the octagon since fighting each other back in March. What do you guys make of Masvidal's attack on Colby? Pretty silly, right? More Jorge news now, and a bit of a blast from the past. Masvidal scored the quickest knockout in UFC history back in July 2019 when he knocked out Ben Askren with a flying knee inside 5 seconds, and this week, Askren has been talking. Speaking on Twitter earlier this week, Askren, an NCAA Division I wrestler, was asked how any potential rematch with Gamebred would go, and his reply was very interesting. Having lost his last 2 fights after a perfect MMA career, Askren might feel as though he went out on a bit of a low point, and responding to the Masvidal question, he replied simply, "It's the only thing that I would come out of retirement for." Masvidal is currently going through a bit of a skid himself, having lost his last 3, and he is known to detest Askren, so a rematch between the pair might not be as ridiculous as it sounds. Askren was flatlined by Jake Paul in his last sports combat outing, so may also feel as though he has unfinished business. Known for his wrestling, Askren didn't get the chance to use it during the Masvidal fight, and speaking on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, Jorge also said, "I would actually love to wrestle expletive with Ben in a competition, before going on to say, "He's a better wrestler than me undisputedly, but I am 10 times the athlete that guy will ever be. We will have to wait and see if this one develops." Who do you guys have in any sort of rematch? And finally, who could Masvidal go up against when he finally returns? Well, last week, Dana White suggested that Jorge Masvidal could return to the octagon sooner rather than later. Of course, he has the upcoming Covington trial to think about, but what better way to take your mind off a legal case than to engage in a legal fight? Speaking last week, the boss was discussing what might be next for Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal, suggesting that first and foremost, Colby is ready to return, saying, "Colby wants to fight, he's ready to fight, and we're making plans for him here soon." Who he might face, though, is up for debate. Many people have suggested he could face off against Khamzat should he get past Nate Diaz, but that wouldn't be anytime soon. Well, if Chimaev destroys him inside a round like he is expected to, it actually could be within a couple of months. The plans for Masvidal are a little more clear, with White musing that he could throw him in against the durable Gilbert Burns, who last turned out in April against the aforementioned Chimaev, putting on a superb performance and almost knocking the much-hyped Russian out. Who do you guys have if Jorge does end up squaring off against Burns? Give us your thoughts below. As always, thanks for tuning in today, and remember to stop by again next time when we will be discussing all sorts of other cool bits and pieces. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video whilst also subscribing to our channel. Bye guys!